everyone. Welcome back to Absolute Comics. My name is Benny. That is Sal, and we're just two goofy guys that get together on a weekly basis. Why you gotta laugh at that?
Just a couple of goofy guys.
we're the owners of a hot sauce brand. Two goofy guys and the crazy hot sauce.
Sold.
Guys, if you enjoy this podcast that comes to you weekly where we talk about comic books, comic book news, and everything going on in the world of comic books, make sure you subscribe to the channel that this is on, which is Absolutely Marvel at DC. You go hit up our sponsor, G Fuel. Use the code COMICS at checkout. Or you go grab a t-shirt. I'm wearing one today, finally. They got washed. Softest t-shirts I own. Into the AM. Check them out. We don't have any branded shirts of them. And you know what? I prefer it that way because they make some great, large, plain shirts, which I love. So I'm getting tired of my own graphic tees. I can't wear my own face. If you want to talk about being full of yourself, try walking around with a Comic Historian branded shirt that has my goddamn face on it. I mean, So anyway, guys, we're going to talk about some comic books, but we told you yesterday, if you watched our live show over at Absolutely, there's going to be a surprise guest today. And that guest is Dan. Dan is going to join us today.
It's Dan. Dan. How are you, man?
I was called special once. Yay.
That was by a doctor.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, guys, we wanted to. You all thought you knew who it was. You all thought it was going to be Rob. We were like special guests, and you're all like, Rob.
It's never going to be Rob. Rob will never be on the show.
We told you, Rob will never be on Absolute Comics. Our guest is Dan because he read the comics for once.
That I did.
That's how it goes.
Yep. So I'm sorry, guys, but that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. But Dan, actually, I think you need to take care of something really quick, don't you?
Yeah. We're going to pop you out, okay? We're going to pop you out real fast. Hey, Rob, do you know where Dan went? Because I can't seem to find him anywhere.
I have no idea, man. No idea where Dan went. If only I knew.
If only you knew where Dan went.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had to pull something. You guys all guessed it immediately. So you weren't there, Rob. Yesterday, at the end of yesterday's podcast, I was like, hey, guys, and don't forget, we're going to bring back Absolute Comics after, I think it was a 3-week break, but like, we're going to take it back. We've all been a break. We're all back. We're going to bring the show back. And we got a special guest. You guys are going to love them. I'm not going to say their name just in case it falls through, but it's a special guest, and you all got to come here and check it out. And the chat was like, Rob.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rob.
Still, they're like, yeah, I think it's Rob.
It's been like 3 or 4 years since you've been on a show with us publicly. And no one believes we're friends. Rob and I have officially been getting meals like every Saturday.
It's been like 3 or 4 months since we had like breakfast the other day.
Yeah, but, let's clear this up. Me and Benny don't hate each other.
No, not at all.
We literally went to an Indian place Saturday.
The other day.
Yeah. Saturday. It was Saturday.
I'm finding out about it just now. I was left out. Of course, I didn't get to go. I love my chicken tikka masala, but okay.
It's exactly what I said. What exactly happened. Rob went in one direction with his life, and I went another direction. And a part of getting older, guys. No, I'm saying a part of getting older is sometimes things get in the way, and you're busy handling your life.
Yeah, you get gray hairs and things.
And then you show back up like, oh, man, I wonder how my buddies have been. And you check back in with your buddies. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I will say, you know what's awesome? Tevye is still here. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I like chat. Dan got voted off the island so quick.
Dan got the boot. I replaced him.
You replaced Dan. I'm not going to pit you against Dan. That I don't think Dan will win. It'll hurt his self-esteem. Dan doesn't need any self-esteem hurts right now.
Poor Dan.
Dan needs this.
So, Rob, you've never been to StreamYard. You can see Dan's face in the bottom corner, can't you?
No, we can't see.
Oh, you guys can't see
him at all.
I can see Dan motioning to me.
Nice.
Yeah. I see nothing.
No. Blissful ignorance. It's lovely. I love being a guest instead of a host.
So let's talk about the topic we were on. I wanted to bring Rob in before you and I just went into the topic of the Dark Crisis stuff.
Right.
Have you been keeping up with at least the mainline stuff, Rob?
Yes, I have. I haven't really read the tie-ins.
There's only been two major ones. It's just Flash and Young Justice. So
okay, yeah, I haven't gotten I just started because I started it late. So I literally just finished Justice League 75. So I still have the main story, right? Because I basically just finished the prelude, right?
Did you read Justice League Incarnate?
Yes. Oh, dude, I love Justice League.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah. Okay. You know, the one thing I love the most is I love that like Grant Morrison's Multiversity has not been forgotten, because I was afraid that after everything that had happened, they were just like, oh, Multiversity. That's right. I forgot that Grant Morrison mapped out the whole multiverse.
The whole multiverse.
Well, we chatted with Joshua Williamson, and his goal is to just bring back everything that has been forgotten. Like that's what he wants.
I was wondering what that was, because like when I've been reading this, I was like, okay, so the only reference to the events of Perpetua was basically when Wonder Woman was like, me and the Spectre went to go find out what this new danger was, and then like we never found out. And I was like, so nothing with Perpetua matters anymore? Like, did it just not happen?
Well, no, nothing matters. It's comic books.
I have no idea where.
But I love Joshua Williamson's argument against having it, because everyone's like, they're rebooting, DC's rebooting. And I loved his counter argument of like, why would I reintroduce everything just to throw it all away and reboot again?
He's like, know my favorite characters like Wally West and Tim Drake and Kyle Rayner. Like, why would I reboot? I want all the stuff I read to come back.
I mean, you know, I'm not even gonna lie. I totally get why people feel that way, because as I'm reading Justice League Incarnate, I'm going through this story and I'm kind of expecting something where they're like, okay, we staved off, you know, the empty hand and the great darkness, and now some greater threat's going to emerge or something like that. Nope, they lost. And so I was like, okay, so like the great darkness is showing up, and literally you have Dr. Multiverse who's like, the great darkness can't be defeated. Like the best you can hope for is to put it to sleep. And I'm just like, okay, then this feels like a reboot. Like it feels like they're gearing up to reboot everything.
100%.
It's definitely a crisis, you know. And I think not just the fact that it's called Dark Crisis and now Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, but it's like it has all the trappings of a crisis, and it's also like kind of a meta crisis because it's trying to make a crisis. Like literally, characters are saying in the book, "We're trying to kickstart a crisis."
Yeah.
And one of the consequences of crises are that reboots happen.
Or continuity cleanups.
I feel like it's going to be a continuity cleanup.
That's what it is.
I think it's going to be like the Perpetua deal, where it ended and it's like, well, this could be a reboot, but it's not going to be. We're just going to clean things up and move forward.
Because like Flashpoint worked as a reboot, but not enough planning was in place. New 52 made huge bank and really worked for DC, but I think the only reason why it didn't work is because they just didn't have enough in the hopper. Like they didn't have enough planned out.
Yeah. You know what this feels like now that like we kind of bring up this idea of a continuity cleanup, it feels like 0 Hour. Like I feel like this is going to end. I feel like this is going to end, and Williamson's going to be like, here's the chronological timeline of everything.
You know,
and Hal Jordan's Parallax.
Parallax again. Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that would be a terrible idea. But also,
why?
But because it was immediately made it was made irrelevant the next day. Like 0 Hour, when if you open up the last page of 0 Hour, they're like, okay, so the JSA started in 1943. Like Batman first started in 1987. I'm like, you're immediately irrelevant. You can't say years in your timeline, and they do. They also screwed up Hawkman, where they're like, all right, here's 18 Hawkman. They're all the same Hawkman. I don't know. Like 0 Hour was and when you think about like how the origins of 0 Hour came about, 0 Hour came about because they were like, oh man, it's been 10 years since Crisis. Let's have a 10-year anniversary Crisis. And it's like,
basically,
no. Don't screw up continuity just because you're celebrating. Like fix continuity. Now this could, if we want to be charitable, we could say this is 0 Hour done right. Because there is hyper time, and there are multiverses, and there are infinite Earths, and all this crap is coming back. Plus Williamson was a kid who read comics, and I think probably worked in a comic book store, if not certainly shopped in them when 0 Hour was coming out. So there's no way dude doesn't love his 0 Hours. Now, and I think Extant was in one of the issues, like at least as a reference, you know. So I could see that being a thing. Yeah, I think it's more apt to say 0 Hour.
I would love it if they just to throw in another curveball. Imagine if the last thing he introduces is Wave Rider shows up.
Oh, there we go. Please. Right in the timeline to the end of everything.
He just shows up like, I gotta fix this.
Oh God,
dude, that guy, man, that guy was just a retcon machine. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
He was like the Cable of DC Comics.
He was like the Cable, only way less marketable.
Oh yeah, like, do you have something we need to change? Well, here comes Wave Rider to fix it all. And,
Wave Rider would have worked if he wasn't tied in with all the other stuff, like with the Rip Hunter and the Time Lords and the crap. Which is interesting because, of course, running parallel to this, we have Jeff Johns' Flashpoint Beyond, which stars Rip Hunter and the Time Lords and is about hyper time and crap. So like we have two converging crises where clearly neither of them are working together.
Oh, 100%. I agree. Have you been reading Flashpoint Beyond, Rob?
I have not been reading Flashpoint Beyond, but I've read enough to know that people are just like, what the hell's the point of this?
Well, yeah. That's the problem with it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of spoiler here because here's the facts of the matter. The big reveal doesn't change shit. So
okay, so you and I, we were having lunch one day and we were talking about all this, and your idea was at the end of Flashpoint Beyond, it's going to somehow tie into everything going on with Dark Crisis.
Oh,
like that was the hope. Yeah, that was the hope.
That would be the hope.
What it turns out is Batman found a way to get his father out of prison, Thomas Wayne, and he contained his entire universe in a snow globe.
What is this, like Saint Elsewhere? What the hell?
Yeah, basically, like Batman resurrected the Flashpoint universe and like shoved his dad back in there. But his dad doesn't know that he's in there, so he's like, "Oh, the timeline reset. Well, all I have to do is ruin and destroy this timeline, and I can get out of here." And it's like, no, Batman made that for you. Like, this is the world.
It's supposed to be like, go home, do your thing again. Like,
and he's like,
wait,
this world blows.
Are you talking about like Flashpoint Thomas Wayne? Because he's dead.
Thomas Wayne.
No, he came back in Incarnate and all those.
Yeah. Flashpoint.
Yeah, no, but he died at the end of Incarnate, I thought.
No, he's in a snow globe. Snow globe world.
He did die.
Bruh.
He did die in Incarnate, but that may have been either no. I think the way they say it is that is him, but they brought him back.
Yeah.
That's
Batman contains him in a snow globe, trapping him in like basically a bottled city of Kandor kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like all the people within the Flashpoint universe are like, dude, we matter. We're real. And then we find out they aren't. Batman somehow recreated everything, put him in a snow globe, and Corky and Rip Hunter are like, what are you doing, Bruce?
Yeah, it's weird. But I love it because in the Flashpoint Beyond book, they basically tell you, Dark Crisis ends happily ever after. All the superheroes come back.
They spoiled Dark Crisis.
Do they really?
Yeah.
You know that reminds me of with Secret Wars. Before it ended, Brian Michael Bendis was like, "Here's Doctor Doom, everybody."
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Doctor Doom's fine. His face is fixed, and it's all good. I'm like,
what?
Thanks, Bendis.
Didn't Bendis also spoil Secret Empire?
Yeah.
Somehow I can't remember. Yeah, he spoiled that one too, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, they did. No, you know what's funny? I think that because Bendis wrote Civil War II, which had the best retcon for Secret Empire in it, where they were like, Cap sees that the Secret Empire wins. He's like, "Oh, okay, Miles Morales may kill me, but who cares? Because my Secret Empire will continue."
Maybe
that was a dope retcon of one of the worst Marvel Comics events of all time.
Oh, Civil War II? Yeah, it was awful. I thought you were gonna say Secret Empire. I was like, it's been real, man.
No, I know. Yeah. How do I boot him from this?
Rob's like, how do I gain control of the room?
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of Secret
Benny, can you remove Sal?
Yeah. Secret Empire's dope. I appreciate it. I wish that Spencer was allowed to finish it the way he wanted to, but
yeah, didn't they like end it with it was like some tie-in where a guy just coughed up a cosmic cube because comic book logic.
Yes, they invented an Inhuman who can make things you need for the situation you're in.
Yeah, the most comic book logic thing ever.
I love that. Like you're locked into your house, he'll vomit up a key.
I got to interrupt everything. We have breaking news that just happened literally minutes ago. I'm going to put it up on the screen here, and we're going to listen to it together for a minute, okay?
Here we go.
Old school stuff. No, this is good. This is actually real. This isn't me fucking with you.
I really felt like you were.
Hey, everyone. We're extremely sad to have missed D23. Oh, no. We've been working very hard on the next Deadpool film for a good long while now. I've had to really search my soul on this one. His first appearance in the MCU obviously needs to feel special. We need to stay true to the character, find new depth, new motivation, new meaning. Every Deadpool needs to stand out and stand apart. It's been an incredible challenge. It's forced me to reach down.
Who's a commercial for his gin?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Completely empty up here and terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
What? Wow.
All right, I think we have something to talk about, guys.
We got something to talk about, man.
Okay.
Like, here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's Ryan Reynolds. Is that real?
I think it is real. I mean, I'm seeing it blow up all over, but like, we got a date. We have the Marvel logo. I feel like Marvel been like, you can't use the logo, man. If it was messed up. Like, okay, so speculation time.
Yeah, my thoughts right off the bat. This is going to be something on the other universe, and it's going to end with him coming over.
Okay, so it takes place in the Deadpool universe.
Because here's why I think that. Hugh Jackman has straight up said he's done. So whatever reason he agreed to come back, I do not see him being like, oh, and now I'm Wolverine everywhere.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, man.
You think he's going to come back as Wolverine permanently?
I don't believe that because Harrison Ford was like, I'm never playing Han Solo again. And then Disney's like, well, I mean, here's $60 million. And he was like, I'm never playing Han Solo after this. And then
but he agreed to do it if they killed him. So what if that's the Hugh Jackman thing? $60 million, you come in one last time to send off a Deadpool Wolverine movie, and then you send Deadpool off. Or like this is the end. They loosely tie it in.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh Jackman's 53, which he looks good for 53. I gotta say, no shade, but you can't hinge your future X-Men franchise on Hugh Jackman continuing to be Wolverine. He even says in this video, he says, "Do you want to play Wolverine one more time?
One more time. What if I got the greatest idea for what this movie's about? Deadpool and Wolverine fall into the MCU. We don't even find out how. They just get dropped in, and it's a buddy comedy of the two of them exploring the MCU.
Bro, I would be so down with that. A buddy cop film? Yeah, man.
I could see that. That'd be cool. But
also, I want to say,
what do they
I don't think that was
Jackman?
I think he just voiced over the segment.
Oh, you think that wasn't him back there?
No. Look at this. Look at this. You got to see.
Yeah. Just completely.
Like he doesn't get in frame.
And terrifying.
I think it's just like a body double.
Hey, Hugh.
No, that's him.
Wolverine.
I mean, you could easily do a body double. Is what I'm saying.
No. Scroll back. Scroll back. Look at that. That looks just like him, man.
Well, that's what a body double does. Like, wouldn't he kind of come over in frame?
The face looks just like him.
Right, but he's still moving. You just get, like I said, that's what a body double does. You just get as close
Let
as you
me
can.
Believe, Benny.
Even if it isn't, the implication is there. We get it. He's Wolverine.
Look, he doesn't even voice it over till he walks off screen.
Wolverine one more time?
See?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
See? He doesn't even do it on screen, Rob. I'm saying body double.
Who cares?
That's the argument of the century. Was it a body double?
Right.
Yeah.
In Ryan Reynolds' aviation gin commercial / Deadpool 3 promo.
All right, Rob. We got to have a classic moment here. What is your initial speculation of how it's going to happen? What is it? We got to have a Rob moment.
I mean, I have a theory on how they put Wolverine in the MCU, but it's not that.
No.
You know what would be hilarious? Okay. Do you guys remember the Christopher Priest intro for Deadpool when Christopher Priest took over the title? You might not. It was way back in the early 2000s, maybe like 2001, 2002. So the idea is that the first title that Christopher Priest writes for Deadpool's walking through a trailer park. And he's being shown like, this is where you're going to be staying. And when he gets into his trailer, it's all the characters that Christopher Priest had written out, right? Because back in the day, he was the guy that Marvel sent characters to when they wanted to cancel him. So like he killed Iron Fist, stuff like that. Wolverine, like he literally walks in there, or Deadpool walks in there. He's like, nope, I'm not going to be canceled. And then he just like dives into a puddle and wakes up in the story. I don't know if it'll be something like that, but I could certainly be some variation of the idea that you guys have that like he ends up getting yanked. Like they end up getting pulled in it. Because I mean, we already have it established with the Morbius film and like, what's his name, crossing over into the Morbius universe. It doesn't have to make any sense how in the hell they got there.
No.
Right. Like,
right, so on the same token though, no one liked it. And everyone
no, but I'm saying that door is open. And it's the most Deadpool thing where like Deadpool crosses over into the MCU because of the spell from Spider-Man. And then they're like, how did you even get here? Like, you don't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And Deadpool's like, doesn't really matter. Right. And like,
Deadpool would say, I read comics. Like, that's literally all he would.
that would be it. Yeah. He'd be like, I read comics. I know Peter's Spider-Man.
And so he comes into the Marvel universe. So, for some reason, Hugh Jackman got pulled in with him and they buddy cop across the stage.
Yeah. I mean, you could do, I like the idea of a buddy cop movie, the way that like Deadpool 2 kind of should have been, where it was Cable and Deadpool just like mucking around time and space.
Fabian DeSouza stories.
Yeah, it would have been really dope. Yes. But I would take a combination of like Deadpool, Wolverine meets like Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine, or Sliders, or not Sliders, the Marvel Sliders, the Exiles.
Oh, Exiles. Yeah.
Where like Deadpool is using his like his time device and it slides him through dimensions. Basically, we get the Multiverse of Madness movie we always wanted, where we're seeing different realities, but through the lens of somebody who can like make references to them and enjoy them, as opposed to like sticking them on Doctor Strange and like, you know, Wolverine, who's just like, what is this? Why am I doing this? Like, what is this? It'd be cool to actually give him like a little happy ending where he's like, you know what, drop me off here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll probably never happen, but I want to see some moment where like Deadpool meets Kang, right?
Oh.
And Kang just gets annoyed and he's just like, get him out of here. And it's like, I don't care. And then he just lands in the MCU and like that's it.
So let me ask you guys this question. This is Deadpool 3, not 1 or 2, 3.
Right.
Is this it? Is this like Ryan Reynolds send off and he roped in Hugh Jackman for a $60 million final paycheck?
No, I don't think this is. No, I think this is Deadpool 3 in the sense that it will most likely wrap up the Foxverse. So the movie will segue into the MCU.
Okay.
And then you'll just get Deadpool in the MCU, right? Like whatever form that takes. I still want to see a Spider-Man Deadpool movie, but you know.
That would be a really good idea that would make a lot of money. I don't see why they wouldn't do that, but I also understand that like it's a deal with Sony and you know.
The problem here is this: 30 minutes ago, I would have said, Rob, they don't do true buddy comedies, and that will never happen.
Right, but here it is. I mean,
here we have Deadpool and Wolverine. So
I remember years ago pitching
30 minutes ago, Benny disagrees with you, Rob.
Phase 4 should have been just buddy cop movie. They should have Thor Ragnarok was the movie where it's like, oh, the new phase of Marvel is hero and hero movie, right? Like it's just like you don't even get like it's not like it's Thor 3, it's Thor and Hulk the movie, and the next one's like Spider-Man and Deadpool the movie. You know, like that's what they like Hawkeye and Black Panther in this. You know, that's I think a more strong showing for a phase in Marvel. This could be a nice way to test those waters, you know, because you know Deadpool 3 isn't going to be like $300 million. It's going to be like, I don't know, probably $100 million.
I mean, there's a lot of questions. Isn't that
how he got away with doing the first one? What was the budget?
Yeah. It was like 60.
They kept it really affordable. Yeah, it was pretty. Like the most expensive part was the CGI, and they didn't use that much.
Yeah, so it was $58 million for the first one, and it made almost $800 million.
Yeah, it made. Yeah, it was nuts. It made almost $1 billion.
Brilliant idea, and it's like that's the Marvel. That's the good idea from you, Marvel. Like take an idea like Black Widow or Deadpool or Hawkeye or you know characters we love, and give them a budget that's like sensible, a plot that's like small but enjoyable, and then put it out during a time when it's like death to cinemas. They put it out on February 14th, which is a lousy time for movies. But as a result, nobody's going to the theater unless they're like, oh my God, Deadpool? Yeah, I'll go see Deadpool. You know,
they doubled the budget for the second one, which is still under an MCU project. It was $110 million for the second one.
That's a good number.
And it still made just shy of $800 million.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
I mean, the bigger thing you have to ask though, right? Is if Hugh Jackman's coming back as Wolverine, how the hell does that work? Because he died at the end of Logan.
Oh yeah, well that's
why I think what's gonna happen. Here's what I can see happening because I've been formulating more of this in my head so I can make my first whiteboard rant.
I'm trying to, but I'm too excited.
Right.
So like,
I'm picturing Deadpool is just nonchalantly walking around. Spider-Man shit happens. He's like, wait, no, Spider-Man pulls out a comic, sees Peter Parker, and falls through the multiverse, where in Deadpool fashion, he just reaches out, grabs Hugh Jackman, and falls into the MCU.
Right.
Like, so they don't even explain it. He just grabs him and pulls him with him. And that's it. And movie begins.
Yeah. I think they're afraid of that level of, like, meta commentary. I think that they're like, it's gotta make at least a little sense. And especially you pointed out, Benny, that like this is Deadpool 3. This is the third Deadpool movie. It's gonna dovetail from the last Deadpool movie. So like I would hope / expect that Vanessa comes back. I would hope that like it pays off some of the threads in the last one, because who doesn't love Marina Baccarin? And like, hey, put her in the MCU too. Like, she's
do her justice, man. Let me
make her copycat.
Like, make her copycat. That's what I'm saying. Okay, those are the guys in the chat who don't know anything about copycat. Dude, Mystique has nothing on this chick. Copycat can not only take on the appearance of people, but copy their powers. Yeah, right? Like she's legit. Like she's a really, really cool character that was just not utilized effectively.
Yeah.
Like, make her copycat.
Right? Oh my God. Somebody in the chat just asked a question I think is perfect for Benny, because somebody said, why announce it today? Benny, why today?
Why today? Because there's nothing
happening.
There's nothing happening. That's literally today's episode was going to be Rob joining us for a normal episode of Absolute Comics, so you guys can enjoy the normal tangents we have. The tangents stem from actual conversations. Without them, the pre-show was us going, "Hey, how you been?" That's cool. So here's the joke I'm going to pull, Rob. You cool with that? That's cool. You good? Nice dog, Rob. What's going on with the dog? Like, that's literally all it was. Because I spoke to Rob Saturday. I know what's happening with Rob.
Right.
So today was us BSing, and that's why they announced it today. Rob and I just had a discussion. Why are all the comic channels kind of on a downward spin right now? Because nothing is being announced.
Nothing's being announced. And what is out, people don't care about.
Right.
Yeah,
So they needed something. They needed something to jumpstart the MCU. What's the best thing to do? They've probably had that announcement saved for a window of nothing.
Yeah. Well, I was going to give my staff a break for like 2 or 3 weeks, but that ain't happening this week.
Deadpool Wolverine stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
All the Deadpool Wolverine crossovers.
Theory craft off.
Now,
Hugh Jackman body double eating an apple walking through.
God.
If I am being honest with you guys, if I'm the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I give Deadpool a third movie.
Totally.
Right? From there, it's Deadpool appearing in films.
Absolutely.
Just
like
nothing but
Deadpool
cameos.
doesn't get his own movie. He's just in other movies.
He's just in other movies.
I think but then you whet people's appetites for a Deadpool 4. Like whenever Deadpool shows up, you're like, oh my God, yes, Deadpool again.
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, where does that fit in with Deadpool? Because I think Deadpool has been sorely separated, despite like Colossus and those like one doorway cameos, from the X-Men.
Right.
We are, if it's to be believed, another 2 years away from the X-Men actually being introduced in the MCU because of the supposed 2025 casting, contract situation, which may also account for why Hugh Jackman's in this Deadpool movie. They're like, we literally can't put Wolverine in any MCU.
He has to finish his tenure.
It has to be Hugh Jackman.
That lines up with that rumor. That really does. Why else would we get Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier?
Patrick Stewart.
And why else would we get Hugh Jackman? And they're just like, why don't we just use them as
Ralph Boner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why did they recast? Why didn't they recast Quicksilver?
Evan
Because
Peters?
they had one.
Yeah.
Like that actually makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. See, my thought was, in before this announcement, my thought was if they were gonna bring Deadpool into the MCU, they would do it in Loki season 2, and it wouldn't be an overly thing. It wouldn't be like a huge thing, but it would be like somehow or another, as Loki's traveling the multiverse, by whatever man and whatever means, Deadpool ends up in the MCU somehow. I would prefer it if Deadpool tagged along with Loki and just pisses Loki off the whole time, just annoys
dude, that idea could still happen.
It could, it could. But
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to come out. Hired began June 2022.
Loki
That's
comes out next
2024.
year.
Yeah, so Loki could easily come out in front of it and even get a mention or an episode or whatever.
Well, and I should mention, like, this is not the first appearance of Deadpool in the MCU. Like, we've gotten teases for that already, irrespective of X-Men.
The Korg thing?
No. In the last episode of She-Hulk with the shoes in the shoe store.
Okay.
Then the like they had that like fun art collage at the end of every episode during the credits.
Oh yeah.
There's a pair of Deadpool shoes.
Yeah.
In that collage. And it's like you can't use that if you can't use it. You know what I mean? Like if it's barred, if there's no plans, why would you put him his shoe is right next to the main character or the main character in that sequence's head.
Yeah.
Like meant to draw your eye. You're supposed to go, "Oh my God, it's Deadpool." That could be them telegraphing it. That could be very like, string, against corkboard theory. But, I think that they have every intention of using Deadpool, like not just in a Deadpool 3. Like I think they are using, like they're like, we're going to use Deadpool in more things.
Yeah.
Although I don't see him, like I had a pitch a while ago and it's similar in as much as they're not going to do this, but I think they should. I think they should have introduced Dr. Doom in Phase 4, and every movie is character versus Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom versus Spider-Man, Dr. Doom versus the Avengers, Dr. Doom versus the Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom versus Ant-Man, because there's a story. Epic. Because that's a story that everyone has. They're all delightful. It raises Dr. Doom's brand a little bit, gets people excited about it, and like showcases that Dr. Doom isn't just a villain we're going to throw away. Dr. Doom is an Iron Man. Dr. Doom is a character that like you're going to love seeing. He's a Loki. Like we're going to use Dr. Doom,
They
It's
won't,
like,
which is making me
they
sad
won't-
because I
they
don't
won't do that.
foresee them doing that.
No,
I
they're not
don't
gonna. They're not. I think Doctor Doom is going to be one of the first villains they're not going to kill. I think honestly, with Phase 5 and Phase 6 going forward, I think you're actually going to see Marvel changing their tune and not killing their villains. Because
I
one
hope
of the
that's
reasons
right.
why the Marvel Cinematic Universe is struggling so bad is because they killed all their villains.
Yeah,
Right?
I've said
Like,
that. I've agreed with you. Way back, Rob, we had that same agreement back in the
Years.
weekly poll days.
Yeah,
Like,
years ago.
Like you killed every worthwhile villain. And my
Yeah.
argument since the dawn of time has been the one thing DC has over Marvel. They have villains that have stayed villains.
Yeah.
Like they have a roster of villains that you know about. And when it comes to Marvel, most of their villains have become good guys. Even long-standing villains like Galactus have become the life bringer. Like,
Yeah. Well, he's
True.
back to. Well, he's actually dead right now.
oh,
But
he's dead right
no,
now.
like it's But no, I totally get what you're saying. But that's the thing. Like, because I you know, as it's. I have a video coming out where I'm talking about stories that are too dark for the Marvel Cinematic Universe to do. But one of the stories that I talked about was God Loves, Man Kills. They're never going to give us William Stryker as a villain.
No.
But tell me he wouldn't be a phenomenal villain in the MCU because he has no powers,
Yeah.
right? He's just a crazy religious guy.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing to see.
The
how,
problem is they're trying so hard to not piss off certain groups.
oh, they'd piss off every Christian in the country. Like, hey guys,
Exactly.
here is a religious fundamentalist who thinks God wants them to kill mutants, right? Like they'd be painting religious people to be villains, and that's going to anger a bunch of people, and rightfully so. I could see how they'd be mad, but
William Stryker, back when Claremont invented him, was a parody of like extreme Christian values and prejudices and bigotry and hate and like and the manipulation of media and using TV to like create an angry mob.
Yeah.
And that ain't a parody no more. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. It's like when they invented J. Jonah Jameson for the MCU, and they were like, it's Alex Jones. Like, you can't just not draw those parallels anymore.
Yeah.
Like.
I want to comment on one of our comments here. They're saying about the leaks from Black Panther. We are aware of them. We're not talking about it publicly because they aren't confirmed nor denied. And if they are real, then we've spoiled the movie for people. So we're not talking about that publicly, but we are aware of them.
Yeah, like I do focus on that. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
if they ever turn out to be right, it's because we guessed it right. Right? That's all it ever is. Because
thank you for admitting that, because there's been a few times on this show that I've been like, they'll be like, what about these rumors? I'm like, guys, you do realize everyone who's spouting rumors is throwing 50 ideas against the board. Get one right. And like they'll be like, what about Rob? I'm like, Rob is doing the same thing, and it's fine, but be aware
like
what he's doing.
Some rumors are more credible than others, and you are able to bring like, okay, yes, the MCU is its own multiverse now, but like they're drawing on comic inspiration. So like, there's a reason why Namor the Submariner is not from Atlantis, but he's from the ocean, right? Like, I mean, it's things like that. So like, you can draw some parallels and say, okay, this is the direction they're most likely going to go in. But until Kevin Feige gets out on stage and says, here's exactly what's happening, it's a guess. It's a definitive guess.
Well, I mean, look at the amount of rumors and theories that came out of Multiverse of Madness that everyone was saying was going to show up in the movie and then didn't happen, and everyone's all like, "Oh my god, how are the rumors not true?" Because they were rumors.
But having said that, the rumors are half the fun. Like I tell people all the time, like on Geek Culture Explained, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. To me, it's just the fun of speculating, right? If I'm right, I'm going to be like, "Hey, I'm right. I told you I was right. I told you that I had it." And if I'm wrong, I'm just like, "Well, it happens sometimes." But that's half the fun.
So to bring it back though to the Deadpool thing, what about the fact that, just to say that maybe this is the end, it's like a swan song for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman over here.
I hope not.
I hope not too, and I would love it if Hugh Jackman got on board with an MCU. I just don't see.
No, I don't want. I don't want Hugh Jackman to return as Wolverine in any official capacity. Like, I'm happy for him to be in this Deadpool movie, but I don't. And I was holding out not hope, but more like expectation that he might show up in like the Secret Wars movie. But I don't want to see like.
Well, now he
Hugh
definitely
Jackman,
can.
Yeah. Oh, he will. Like now it's.
I mean,
that's
but what I wanted to bring up
kind
is
of like get on board for.
October 18th, 2021, Ryan Reynolds said he was taking a sabbatical and was done with Hollywood for a little while.
Right.
This is a 3-year release between the time that he makes that announcement and the time that it comes out.
That's true. Yeah, because he did come out and say, "I'm not done with Deadpool 3. Will come out one day."
Yeah, and it takes about a year to make a movie.
Yeah,
so, depending on how much money and resources you put behind it. So it is about good timing. Right?
Well, and this reminds me just like the post-credit scene of Deadpool 1 when he came out and he was like, "We're getting Cable." They didn't have a story. They didn't have a script. They just knew that they wanted to do a sequel to Deadpool and that Cable was in it. And then they wrote it. Right now, I think that's exactly where we are, where it's like, I want to do Deadpool 3. It's going to be the MCU. and Wolverine's in it. Like, that's all we know. And that's all I think they have. He's like, well, all right, Shankar or whoever's making this movie, like, write that. Write Wolverine and Deadpool, go for it.
The best part about that is Wolverine teaming up with Deadpool happens a lot.
Yeah.
So you can literally... There's so much to draw from.
Dude, how much do you want to bet? See, if they were going to release this movie in time for Secret Wars, I would be like, they're going to old man Logan Hugh Jackman. Right? He's going to be an alternate reality Logan.
And make
exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, they're going to turn him into Unforgiven. They're going to have him like roll over and just be like, hey, he's here from an alternate reality. It's like, but here's the actual Wolverine. So you guys fight to the death, And it's I don't know what it would be, but
my God.
I don't know. I mean, I have my own theories and ideas on how they actually do a true Wolverine, but I'm with you, Sal. Like, I think this is going to be the John Krasinski of Wolverine for the MCU. It's going to be the fan service thing, right? You guys have wanted to see Hugh Jackman return under the banner of the MCU. You get one movie and then that's it. Yeah, with Deadpool, and like you get one movie and then that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
So
so here's a follow-up speculation, because you love to speculate. They brought back Charles Xavier. They brought back Ralph Boner. They brought back Wolverine. Who else do you think? And Black Bolt. Who else?
Which nobody asked for. No one asked for Black Bolt.
Nobody.
Black Bolt sucks.
From Fox. Who else do you think they're going to sneak in before those contracts expire?
Oh man, Storm.
Halle Berry?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't think. When it comes to the Fox movies, man, Wolverine is like Wolverine and Patrick Stewart were like the only ones people were rooting for.
Oh.
And we know that because in Logan, they were the only members of the original X-Men who showed up.
We got one more. Magneto.
Yeah. Okay, now here's a question. If they do bring back Magneto, which one do you want?
I mean,
Ian McKellen or Patrick Fassbender or Michael Fassbender?
I love Ian McKellen. I think he's incredible. I also all I think about is that moment from him on the Hobbit set where he just broke down and cried because it was all CG and green screen and stuff.
He's like, this isn't why I became an actor and that kind of
stuff. Exactly. Like, no, be Richard III, be like King Lear. Let Michael Fassbender do it. He was in Assassin's Creed. He'll do another alternate reality Magneto movie like that. I want to see Fassbender under like really solid direction would be really dope to see.
Bro, okay.
I'm trying to see how old he is now. Ian McKellen.
Fassbender's probably like 42.
No, Fassbender. Yeah, I'm talking about Ian McKellen.
Oh, I think he's probably like 86.
I googled him. Yeah,
he's old.
Yeah, he's definitely up there because I googled him in 2022 and he does not look young enough to be just like, Magneto again.
You can't put him on wires and pull on his muscles. He's 83 years old. You can't just climb around.
Okay, so EJ Matter asked the question. He said, wait, Hulk is supposed to be in Deadpool 3. Unconfirmed. That's a rumor, guys. We don't know.
100% unconfirmed.
Right. Could they do a more faithful old man Logan? All right. If, for example, they did that, I could see them uncanny Avengering Deadpool, where they just find him in a box. And and that's how Deadpool's there.
Dude, I'm going to spin off of your idea right there. What if Deadpool 3 is Old Man Logan? They find Deadpool in the box. They fight against the Hulk with Hugh Jackman. And at the end of it, Deadpool goes through the portal to go back to his time, ends up in the MCU.
Dude, let me build off of that really quick. Because this is the first time I'm hearing of
scripting Deadpool 3 at this point.
This is what this is the first time I'm hearing that Hulk would be in a Deadpool movie at all. But if they were to do that, and we are still in a world where they're not making solo Hulk.
No, go ahead, Sal. Because
they're not making solo
Rob's
Hulk
doing
movies.
the Deku thing for My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
gotta
excited,
talk,
man. I'm excited.
I gotta talk.
It's exciting.
Go ahead, Sal.
Future Imperfect with Wolverine and Deadpool.
I could see that.
That's the movie where Mark Ruffalo plays Maestro.
Okay, you know what? That's perfect. And you want to know why that's perfect? Because we still never found out what the Incredible Hulk saw during Age of Ultron.
No.
We never found out what the Hulk saw. And I love the idea that like Mark Ruffalo saw himself as Maestro. Yeah. That would be what's up.
Wasn't that the rumors? Wasn't the rumers that he was going to be Maestro? Like that's what he saw and we were going to find out?
I've never heard that rumor. But like
I feel like I made that rumor. I started that rumor on.
If you did, it's made the rounds. I've heard it before.
Because it would be so cool. I mean, I would love to see a Future Imperfect movie, but like Universal has made that impossible, and Marvel/Disney just refuses to pay the money to make that happen. So, like, if we're never going to get like a real faithful Future Imperfect movie where it's like Hulk versus Maestro, then at least do a Future Imperfect movie where it's like Wolverine and Deadpool versus Maestro. You still get the Maestro throne room. You get a gazillion different Easter eggs in that throne room.
Yes. Oh my God, so many.
And you get to play with the time travel where it's like maybe Hugh Jackman stays. They kill Maestro, and he's like, I'm gonna stay here and like liberate this world. If you ever need me, come back to this timeline and pick me up. But otherwise, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna kick ass and use my claws and solve problems. And Deadpool's like, bye. Goes
I'll
back
see
in
you
time.
in the Secret Wars. He'll just straight up say it because it's Deadpool.
See you in Secret,
no.
See you in Secret Wars, and then leaves, and he's like, oh, I'm back, but I'm here now. And it's this time.
Okay, so building on your all's idea, the Deadpool goes into a portal, and he's supposed to go back to his own timeline, right?
Right.
What if that happens the moment that He Who Remained dies at the end of Loki, right? And like the whole multiverse just snaps back, and like all the universes are crossing over. So literally, because here's the thing, they could easily do like a Howard the Duck thing, right? Like Howard the Duck was walking on the path in the Nexus of Realities where that wizard fell off and ended up in the main Marvel universe in the comics.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but literally Deadpool's like, well, I'm going to go back to my universe. Hope I don't end up somewhere I'm not supposed to go. And then it's just the MCU, right? And it's just
that's what they did with the old man Logan.
There, like it's
he
like
just fell in a trash can. He's just like, ow, I'm here now.
Yeah. It was nuts.
Yeah.
That would be legit. God, dude, I am so hyped for this movie.
It's so far away.
I know. It's painful. It hurts.
They could combine Old Man Logan and the Future Imperfect story, where it's like, no, it's the Wasteland. We got the Unforgiven stuff. We got Pim Falls and all these other fun things. And also the Maestro's in charge. Like, it's not Red Skull, it's Maestro. Like, Maestro's president, and he's on top of the Capitol building or something like that. Like, yeah, you could do that.
That's true, because we didn't see that much of what was going on in the world during Old Man Logan.
No.
We got enough to know that like things were kind of crappy.
Well,
but,
and
like,
they're not going to do
they
inbred.
did flesh it out, and they fleshed it out a little bit in the Old Man Hawkeye storyline.
Oh,
and if you read
Old Man Quill.
No, I'm talking about Logan from the movies, the Old Man Logan universe.
The Logan.
I know Old Man Hawkeye did all that. Yeah.
I was gonna say they've expanded upon it in the comics. It was what was the other one? Dead Man Logan. They did a lot of what happened.
They also do it in Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four, where you find like New Earth and Galactus is in the future and all that kind of stuff. It's like Hulk Jr., like the version of the Incredible Hulk that Old Man Logan walks away with. Like he grows up.
But you are right about the Fox universe version. I have so many questions about that universe that they just didn't even touch on.
They never answered, never discussed it. So it'd be a pretty cool. Bro, dude, I am so excited for this movie, man. Like, I got to start thinking of all these different ideas and stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's like a million theories.
Rob's like, I got 3 weeks of content till shit comes out elsewhere.
Man,
we got 2 years.
Because, dude, here's the thing, man. Like, we're all like, we're Nathan Drake from Uncharted 3 making our way through the desert, and then we find a little bit of water, some sustenance.
Right? Oh, please. Subscribers.
This episode is literally proof of that. Of us just sitting here like, so what do you think about Deadpool?
Deadpool 3 with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman 2. Yeah. It just happened.
All right, so I had a question I wanted to ask you, Rob, on a podcast. Okay, we're gonna go into a little bit of the Comics Explained career, the Geek Culture Explained, because I got to ask you something that I did not get to ask you at all.
Okay.
As the man who, as far as I know, started the rumors and fun times of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic all the way back in like 2013 when you made a poster. And I said it to Sal, I'm like, I don't think anything predates Rob making that fun poster.
No, it's true. Like that poster feels like that was just Rob being like,
yeah, it's just like that's exactly what it was. I was like, you know who would make a great Reed Richards? John Krasinski. And so like I just sit in front of a photo, like a computer with Photoshop, and I create like a fake Time magazine cover, and it's like Reed Richards, and like that's it. And
I can't think of anything before that. So how does it feel to have accurately foretold something like you were a prophet? Like,
okay, one, I would say I wish I was a prophet. Two, I mean, honestly, it's cool, right? But in reality, John Krasinski being in the Fantastic Four, that was just fan service, right? It was literally just a bunch 100%. Of us in the fan community who were like, he looks the part. I know that people's response to it was like, I don't know if I necessarily see it. I do. I think John Krasinski was a phenomenal Reed Richards. I think he was amazing.
I think it would have been great if he stayed in it.
Yeah. Yes, and I think
he's going to. I think that's the plan, right? Like, I don't think they're going to go.
No, supposedly he for what he has said and what they have said, the new director already has somebody else in mind. And when Krasinski agreed to it, it was just a cameo. It's all.
Oh, I'm sure that he agreed to that, but like he auditioned for Captain America. Like he wants to be in the MCU.
But he is the difference, though. John Krasinski now, compared to then, when he was trying to go for Captain America, he was just the guy in the office and wanted to get into the movies. Now he's making movies. He can get whatever money and budget he wants to do whatever he wants.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, he's turned into Ryan Reynolds, who just now the question is, Ryan Reynolds wants to be Deadpool. But he doesn't have to do it. He's fine. Like the dude is set for life.
He can make Adam projects until the cows come home. But like,
that movie is good. I like that movie.
I didn't see it, but I'm fully expecting another Van Wilder sometime in the next 5 years from.
Oh man,
5 to 10 years.
Like Krasinski's in that boat too. No, what was it? The Quiet Place 2? They're turning it into its own expanded universe. Like, he's the same thing as who's the guy that Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele was just a comedian who recreated the Chappelle Show to this amazing director. Like,
but
I'm a little fuzzy about Jordan Peele.
But I feel like
you're fuzzy about Jordan Peele.
Smarter.
I feel like Jordan Peele's turning into the new
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh yeah, okay. Nope's middle ground. Nope's middle. I'll say that. But
it is mid.
I think he's turning into that.
But John Krasinski's smart enough to be like, he invented The Quiet Place and he directed, I think, at least the first one, if not the second one. But like,
he directed both. Yeah,
I thought he did the both.
But he's in A Quiet Place. But like, the more they expand, if they do start making like Quiet Places, like he ain't directing them and he ain't in them. He's just making them and making money off of them. Like that, like that Some More News thing he created where he was like, here's this thing during the pandemic that is basically a proof of concept that I'm going to sell. I'm not even in the damn thing. I just made a mint. Goodbye. He knows how to like make a thing and then sell it off and then continue to be where he is with Emily Blunt just doing what he does. Like,
he made like a few $1 million. But I still say, I pegged Krasinski as a great read. Like because he looks like a Reed Richards. He looks like a guy that would be a good read. Now, I still say that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, having Krasinski as Reed and Emily Blunt as Susan, is the 1-2 punch of the MCU. Like, if they're hunting for their new Iron Man, if they're hunting for their new face of the MCU, I still say it's going to be Reed Richards when he shows up. Like,
I would love to see that.
It's going to end up being Reed because there's nobody else. It's not going to be Scott Lang. He's too goofy. Chadwick Boseman unfortunately passed away. It's not going to be Tom Holland Spider-Man because nobody knows who Peter Parker is anymore. Well, it's not going to be Doctor Strange because he's so far removed.
Well, Doctor Strange, unfortunately, I think they wanted to be Doctor Strange, but they also don't understand that character enough.
No.
Like they know, they're like, I can just have Iron Man just drop in and say some fun things and go away. And it's like, you can have Doctor Strange for that too. And they're like, yeah, but he's magic. And it's like, what does that mean? Well, you don't know what that means.
He's a fringe guy. Like, Doctor Strange has always been a fringe guy. I mean, if they want to bring him closer in line, they need to do like the old 1990s Doctor Strange Defender comic, where it's like, hey, I'm just going to randomly draw some tarot cards, and whoever in the hell appears on this is going to help me fight Dormammu.
On my team. Exactly.
That's exactly it. You know, and it's like, and
Spider-Man
that kind of thing.
Piece of it, but like, and I think that's another like failing on Disney's part of like just not spending the money where it's due, because obviously it's Spider-Man. Like, the MCU exists because Marvel Studios didn't have Spider-Man. And I'm not being the Spider-Man guy who's like, Spider-Man is everything, but he's the Mickey Mouse of Disney or of Marvel. He might be the Mickey Mouse of Disney now, but like,
he was on the face of the comics for the little logo.
The logo. Like, Spider-Man is the face of Marvel. He is the most. He is, if not the most, the top 2 or 3 most recognizable superheroes of all time.
Oh, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Yeah,
exactly.
That's like exactly what it is.
And so if you're looking for like the face of your universe / company / studio, and Iron Man is dead. It's Spider-Man. Spend the money so you don't have to deal with Sony and that nonsense of like, well, I mean, technically, like that way Spider-Man can only be in these movies that make $1 billion where another character of ours shows up and it never has any impact on anything else that's happening around it. Yeah. Like, no, just pay the money because forcing Doctor Strange to be an Iron Man doesn't work. Forcing the Hulk to be the Iron Man doesn't work either because you can't make Hulk movies. Scott Lang, again, like, he's fun. I would love for it to be Scott Lang, but like, unfortunately, Ant-Man and Wasp movies don't make $1 billion.
No, so they positioned Scott Lang to be in that weird spot where he doesn't quite know what's going on, which really works for Paul Rudd.
That's it does. Problem. It works for him. Like, if they were going to do that, they would have done Hank Pym instead of Scott Lang. But like Scott Lang, I mean, like, he's too goofy.
And Samuel L. Jackson is off world right now. Like, he hasn't. What was the last thing he was in other than was it Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel / Far From Home, but like, he's also in his 70s.
And he's not the guy. Like,
he's not the guy.
There's no situation where it's like, oh my God, like somehow or another, for reasons that only make sense to the movie, Thanos has returned. We better call Nick Fury. Like, nobody.
They're never gonna call Nick
Fury. He shows up with an anti-Thanos gun.
Yeah, and it's not. It's like I said about Black Bolt sucks, and it's never gonna be Black Bolt. You want to know why? You want to know why it's never gonna be Black Bolt? Guys, chat. You want to know why it's never gonna be Black Bolt? Here's the reason why. There has never been a time in the history of Marvel Comics when Kang the Conqueror has come back to the present day and he's crapping all over the superheroes and the Avengers and the X-Men are all facing off against him and all hope seems lost. But off in the sky, the clouds break and a stream of sunlight comes pouring down onto the tattered body of Tony Stark, who looks up with the one eye that opens and says, "Oh my God, everybody, Black Bolt's here. The day is saved."
Thank God it's Black Bolt.
He did it one time. He did it one time.
When did he ever do that?
Inhumanity. He blew.
That doesn't count.
He did it. He one time they used him to save the day. He yelled at Thanos, destroy New York, Cotillion fell. Only time he's ever done anything useful.
No, that's like it's not going to be him. Like in my mind, like I'm with Sal here. Spider-Man
can't even talk.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can't even. Yeah, you're gonna have Medusa follow him around the whole time.
No, Rob, you said
it.
I think you said it a little while ago. Like it was Black Panther. Black Panther was going to be the Iron Man of the MCU.
Like,
that was
Feige
the plan.
And them came out and they were like, yeah, it's like T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman is going to be the new face of the MCU, and everybody was ready for it.
Yeah, and everyone's like,
everybody's like,
sounds good to me.
Everybody's like, yeah, man, we love Black Panther 1, and the movie was amazing. I can't wait to see what Chadwick Boseman does. But then, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed away, which means that role's not there for him anymore.
Yeah, he was that guy. I mean, you could tell that's what they were positioning for. They wanted that.
Yeah, they wanted that, and everything was built around that. Like the whole plan was built around that. Like pass it off to Chad. So in my mind, sure, I would like it to be Reed. I think Reed is it's cool, but even in the comics, I mean, you guys know, like Reed's the fringe guy. Right, Reed's the guy who's like the Fantastic Four. It's like, well, what are the Fantastic Four doing today? Because like the Skrulls are invading Earth. They're in that universe over there, you know. And it's like, okay, like they're not here. Like they just kind of go off and do their own thing. This isn't like 1960s and 70s comics anymore, right? It's not the Fantastic Four are here with everybody else fighting some threat. They're just kind of off doing their own thing all the time. So the reality is, I think with the way that Spider-Man No Way Home ended, Peter Parker's the face, like it's the face now, because people want to see what's going on with Tom Holland. He's getting his own new movies now. He's getting a whole new set of movies, right? So,
well, that's still a rumor, isn't it? I don't think they confirmed it.
I thought it was confirmed.
It's one of the. If it isn't confirmed, I will say it's probably one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. That
it's one of those things where it's like, oh, do I not want to make $1 billion every time I make a Spider-Man movie? Then I guess I won't do that. Like, they're gonna do that.
Exactly.
So
I turn, I turn and I look at Spider-Man, and my thought is, it's got to be like he's going to be the face of the company. Like he's going to be the face.
I think I'm going to check it before I bring it up, but it sounds like John Krasinski got involved in this.
He did. He's in the Twitterverse saying
he just retweeted it. Wait, is this our movie? What?
Okay. No. Okay, so there's an on-running theory. There's an on-running rumor going on out there. A theory going on out there. The Fantastic Four have been here the whole time.
Yes.
But they've been in the multiverse. And I had this idea. Man, let me tell you something. I had this idea. Right? I had this idea. Right? Check this out. Sounds like, man, what the? Okay.
No,
so
I know.
I had this idea. Okay. Do you guys remember Sliders?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, my thought here is a Fantastic Four went out into the 60s, 70s, whatever. They've been exploring the multiverse this whole time. They're like, okay, well, it's been cool. Time for us to go home. Boom, He Who Remains dies. Multiverse explodes, right? And now they're basically sliders. They're just going from one universe to the next until they finally find their home universe. Yeah. Along the way, we would just get a ton of cameos in the Fantastic Four movie from all these different characters that we really want to see. And then one of them is like Deadpool and Wolverine. And they end up just kind of being brought along for the ride. And then somewhere along the line, they end up bumping into Kang and King's forces or whatever, because like the Fantastic Four is the beginning of Phase 5, which means like that starts the whole the real part of multiverse saga that we care about, right? Like it starts that part, right? And so it goes on for Phase 5 and Phase 6. My thought is that's I could see Deadpool having a cameo by way of that. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I would love to see if they wanted to turn Fantastic Four into that kind of if Fantastic Four is that kind of movie where they were lost in space or lost in the multiverse, they could Guardians of the Galaxy it up where it's like, no, clearly Kang is the big villain because we're making a movie called The Kang Dynasty,
right?
But we could Guardians of the Galaxy where it's like Thanos was the big villain, but the main villain of Guardians was Ronan the Accuser. So in this case, it's like, oh, Kang manipulates Blastar, Annihilus, some
That's
character.
a great idea.
And so it's like, we know Kang is the problem, but like the Fantastic Four fight, and then you insert a fun character that's from the Fantastic Four universe that we haven't been able to use. You know?
Yeah, because how many stories have there been where it's like they're fighting some threat and it turns out like Kang is manipulating behind the scenes the whole time?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But, yeah. So that's a genius idea. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four slider sounds fun. It does. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
So-
none of this stuff is confirmed. I mean, there's no real.
Yeah, we're just making stuff up as we go right now.
Spitballing. Yeah,
Well, that's,
spitballing.
you know, yeah.
But
That's what
All
happens
right,
when you
guys.
announce
Well-
a friggin' Deadpool X-Men movie.
yeah.
I think that's a great place to leave off today's episode on Theoriesville. What I mean,
Yeah.
nothing else is getting announced. That's going to be the only thing discussed for the next
Well,
week. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's it.
The fact that friggin' John Krasinski like dovetailed into that, where it was like, okay, Ryan Reynolds is out and he's like, yo, me, Hugh Jackman, Deadpool, Wolverine, yeah, and John Krasinski's like, Mr. Fantastic too. Like,
So I guess you know what? I'll go back. I guess maybe they did. Maybe they offered John Krasinski a 10-year deal
Contract, yeah. And then, oh man, and then Tom Holland is like, guys,
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, hold. Let me make. Oh, he's not on Twitter. I was like, he won't. He won't.
Dude, okay, this is how you're gonna know Tom Holland's involved with the project. You're gonna see Tom Holland upload a picture on an Instagram account, and it's gonna be the Spider-Man. No, it's gonna be the Spider-Man Future Foundation suit, is what it's gonna be. And then you're gonna be like, Spider-Man! Yeah, that's how you're gonna know. The all-white Spider-Man suit. That's how you're gonna know.
You know, we know that is a formula at the MCU where it's like,
oh yeah,
every Spider-Man movie we get 2 costumes at least. Because we got to sell 2 different Spider-Man action figures.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Future Foundation Spider-Man. Like, I want to see that so bad.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Special guest Rob. Before you all ask the questions, will Rob be back? He's always invited back. We're not going to make it a regular thing unless Rob shows up every Tuesday, and then it's just like it'll be like the classic Faust joke. If there was the couch in the corner, he just never went home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be back at some point.
Yeah. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, Rob is an old school guy. He's been with us for the Weekly Poll forever. He's one of our best friends over here. Check him out over at Geek Culture Explained and Comics Explained. And go to everything that says explained on it. I'm sure he owns them all.
That's his. Yeah.
If I don't own them, I'm managing them. I wish.
But yeah, seriously, Geek Culture Explains his new project where he talks about all of his theories, rants and raves. If you like ranting Rob, that's the place for it.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, G Fuel. Use the code comics at checkout. Go to Into the AM. The link will be down below on how to get those awesome shirts that I'm wearing right now. And you can also join the YouTube memberships right here at Absolutely Marvel in DC if you want to get exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff, like when I explained what the nude statues are behind me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next time right here.
Peace.